Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing tonight? Thank you for joining me, guys. Hope you're all having a great night. Great to see you all. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties with my pooter. I don't know why it was doing things it's not supposed to do, but I got it worked out. So here I am. And here you are. Let's see, we got Strikes here. What's up, Pumpkin? Mikey's in the house. Good to see you. Crime time with Mama Burr. Yeah, oh God, it's Dago again. I know. Gotta be tired of seeing my scrouchy face. Cece, the sweetest lady on the internet, is in the house. Miss Heather's here. Mrs. M, always happy to see you. Let's see here. I think that's it. That's it. Where are y'all? I shared it out. Share it out, guys. Leave a little bit of DNA on the like button for me. Share it out. And don't forget to leave a comment in the end of the show. Much appreciated. Tonight we are covering episode number 22, the true story behind, true stories behind the movie Candyman, because there are a couple different versions of the story, believe it or not. There's a couple different variations of different stories, to be honest with you. There's a very short, simple story. There's a couple longer stories. So they're all the true story that caused Handyman. Yes, it's Handyman, guys. Candyman to become a thing. And we're going to talk about it tonight. Good golly. Miss Molly's in the house. Good to see you, dear. Thanks for joining us. Come on in here. Grab your popcorn, your cup of tea, whatever it may be. Sit down and talk about something with me. Okay, I've watched 2 commercials. Wow. Okay. Well, that's nice. Thank you, Cece. There's what, 6 cents for me, 2 commercials? Yes. Just kidding. Good golly. It's Miss Malali and Mikey. And where is everybody else? Go get them, guys. Go get everybody and bring them back on in here. We had a great amount of people in here this morning. I was really, really impressed with that and super happy. And I thank you all for it. So please share this out. Share it to your friends, your neighbors, your mom, your dad, your dog, your cat, your fish, whatever it works. I am so grateful to have you haul in here. You have no idea. Especially you, Molly. I love having you haul in here. I am grateful for you haul. Thank you, Cece. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. Yeah, 6 whole cents, Strike. Imagine that. I might be able to get you guys a Christmas gift with that. Never know. Come on in, guys. 9 people. Come on, let's do this. Let's do this. And again, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me this morning, or early afternoon, I should say. I think it was a great stream. We got a good amount of stuff put out, but we got so much more to go through. Again, a horrible case, and it needs to be out there. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. We had Miss Vicky in there and Crazy Dustin, and everybody was in there today. It was great to see everybody in there. I really do appreciate it. Oh yeah, most definitely, CC. It's gonna happen one of these days. It is. Like I said, there's been talks of me starting another channel and doing nothing but paranormal on that channel, which of course I'm sure all of you guys would join up over there too. I think you guys would love that as well. So I'd just be busy all the time. Horrible case in so many different directions in one. Yes, Molly is absolutely correct. Yeah, I was thinking about doing it, Mikey. I really am. I've had a lot of people come at me about it, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm a little disappointed in myself because of the way this channel goes sometimes. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see. I know that's not a good thing to say, but I know at least I would have most of you guys over there with me. I hope. And then I'm sure that everybody from Professional Paranormal would come on in, and some others too. I hope so. And there's I know Miss Heather would love it. There's so much stuff we could do with it too, guys. Just trying to think of, and Miss Molly. That was one of my stipulations, though, is if I did something like that, that we'd have to get Miss Molly up on the panel to talk, just like this, you know. Of course, no pictures. She could just talk with her little bubble, could talk and blink and all that fun stuff. I think that would be fantastical. I don't know. We'll see. And Mama Bear, of course. Of course. Oh, shush. She's shushing me, folks. She is shushing me. Shush, shush, shush. See? I told you guys. You guys get tired of hearing my voice. Tell me to shut up now. Told you. Told you. Oh, well. What are you going to do? Come on. 10 people now. We need some more peeps. Miss Lena's in the house. Good to see you. But then y'all could hear my house. Well, what are we going to hear when you're there? There's not really. Not really. You guys hear my house. How are you, Miss Lena? It's so great of you to join us. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. I do need to send out a few. I forgot personal invitations because YouTube don't like to do it. Yeah, like I said, I was having some technical difficulties, or I'd have been on here sooner. I'm sorry. And of course, my little Junie's here. Everyone else, there ain't nobody else there when you're there, Molly. Usually the husband's at work, and I've never heard anybody else, but then again, I've never heard you, so I guess that would not make sense, would it? His house. All right. Let me get this invites out. All right, Miss Sherry. Let's see here. Miss Pam. Miss Gina. Let's see. Miss Cece's here already, I believe, isn't she? Isn't yes, Cece's right there. And yes, she is. I hope Miss Stacy's doing okay. Let me see. Did I miss anybody? Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on a minute, everybody. 1 second. If I fade out, someone call 911. Got my dog a new bone on the way home, and she's so relaxed too, and she's gassing me out. Ew. What's the number, Mike? Come on, everybody. Come on in here. Come on in here. Again, guys, please know that I am 100% crowd funded here to keep me going. So I do post up my links to the PayPal, Cash App, and the Venmo that pays the bills to keep me alive and running. And of course, if anybody is feeling generous enough to want to support the channel to keep me up and running, those links are how to do it, guys. And I thank you all so very much for those of you that do and have donated and will donate it. So thank you once again, everybody. Much love to you all. Yeah, I'll tell you, little Oscar, guys. Oscar, you've seen him. He's this big, right? So I was sitting over on my love seat watching something. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Watching a movie the other night by myself. Everybody was sleeping. And I heard this little, and I didn't know what it was. I've never heard him do that before, right? And I'm just sitting here watching the movie. And then it like out of nowhere, it was like somebody hit me in the face with a sledgehammer. I was like, oh my, I almost threw up on myself. It was that bad. You guys have been here when he's done it before. I mean, I know he's old and everything, but I didn't know he was that rotted in the inside. It was so gross. I had to open windows, spray air freshener, walk out of the room. It's just like, good God. He just looks at me like, what? Something wrong? You know? So nasty. They are so gross. For sure. For sure, Lena. Come on. Where is everybody? I want to get this on the road. Come on, come on. About 15 minutes ago, I called it a shammer. She-hammer. Oh, I got you. I got you. Miss Sherry's in the house. Hello, my dear. Thanks for joining us. I'm excited. I got my Junie bug tonight. She'll be spending the night with me. Daddy got to work tomorrow. So we're going to watch our werewolf movies tonight. Hang out, have some popcorn. And then she'll be here with me tomorrow and Gamma. Well, Gamma will have her when I do my stream, but besides that, she'll be hanging out with me. Love having the grandbabies over here. Always have, always will. Makes my day go by with so much more happiness. But in between that, tomorrow we got part 2 of revisiting the Summer Wells case, because I'm telling you, there's so much to it, guys. So much. My sister's dog used to let out these little noisy. I heard. Did I tell you guys before? My cat made a noise, and I mean it was loud, and I was like, "What was that?" Never heard a cat do it before. Come on, 13 peeps. Welcome, guys. Come on in here. Come on in, grab your popcorn, your Pepsi, your Coke, your coffee, your tea, whatever it may be. Come on in, sit down here, have a conversation with good old me. Thank you all for being here. I got something new to play with that my son brought home for me. Junie's dad. If you can see it, that's going to be hooked up here pretty soon. And then we'll have it professional. Yep. Hopefully it'll make the sounds better. I'll be able to pause sounds and do this and do that and everything else. So I'll get that hooked up and roll in. And I don't even know where he got it. I didn't even ask him. He was like, here, have a late birthday. Okay. He brings me stuff here and there all the time. It looks brand new. Live sound card. So we'll see what happens, guys, once I get that hooked up and rolling. Trying to get some new graphics for you guys to have something nice to look at. Well, that has my name in it so everybody knows who I am. Some intros, outros, and make it a lot more professional for y'all. Especially if I do the paranormal thing, I really got to kick it up a notch with that channel too when I do it. So Wells case, Wells case, those parents flew right under the radar. If the honest person tried any of it. See, here's the thing, Mike. I don't think that they did. I don't think that they. I think a lot of people in the law enforcement family knows what's going on, and they're just trying. Because at some point, I'll be letting you guys in on this too. But what's up, Larry? Good to see you, brother. Don just got out of jail a few months back. Okay, and he went into jail for probation violation, DUI, all that kind of stuff. And I think they were trying to hold him in there because they feel like he has some knowledge about this, but they couldn't. Nothing came out. He didn't talk about anything. So there's some more people that we got to talk about too. They have Mr. Tim Mullins will be bringing up. That's their media manager, whatever that means. And just there's a lot, guys. There's a lot of people involved in a lot more stuff to talk about. So I hope you're ready for tomorrow and even possibly Monday or Saturday. So we'll see. We shall see. And yes, Miss Heather, you are correct. Guys, if you haven't yet, become a member. It's only $2.99, and if you do, you'll get to join movie nights with us via Discord, as well as the exclusive Discord rights to have your own channel in Discord with us. Yep, we're going to talk about him tomorrow, Molly. That's right. And he just got into some trouble, by the way. He got arrested, and they were trying to say that it may have had something to do with this case, and I don't think it does. But we're going to be getting into that. There's some newer stuff, guys, that I'm going to be showing you about this case, for those of you that know it, that I found. And it's interesting. So we're going to be looking at that. 12 people. Come on, y'all. Come on. Let's do this. But there's plenty to look at. And Molly, you know that because you've been sending me lots of bits. So with everything that I have, everything that Molly has, guys, just us two alone, we could talk about this for the next 6 months and never stop and never talk about the same thing twice. There's a lot. So I hope you're prepared. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. I hope it was informative, and I hope it was entertaining in some sense. It's a bad word to use, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And again, the movie night thing, it's only $2.99 to become a member because the movie night thing is members only. So check it out if you haven't, guys. Most of you guys are, so that's not a big deal. So, okay. I hate to do this with only 12 people, but I don't want to leave you guys hanging too very long. All right, let me see. So again, for those of you that didn't know, let me see here. Miss Vicky's in the house. Good to see you, ma'am. Where's Jokey Smurf at, Mr. Dustin? Go drag him in here too. Thank you for joining us tonight, Vicky. I appreciate you so very much. Yes, ma'am. In Monday and Thursday nights, I do. I call it the Midnight Series. I don't know why it just popped up. But what I do is I will take like Hollywood movies that have come out, and a lot of movies are based on true stories, Vicky. So what I do is we pick certain movies every week, and I tell you guys the true story behind the movie. So that's why we're in here tonight. Every Monday and Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thanks for joining us, Vicky. And like I said, share it out. Anybody else you think would be interested, bring them on in. The more, the merrier. Miss Vicky says hi to all you beautiful people in chat. All right, let me see here. Matt Winston. Mr. Larry's in the house tonight. Good to have you here, bud. Come on, computer, cooperate with me. All right, and back out of there. By the way, we are growing slowly but surely, folks. We are almost at 1,500 subscribers. That's an awesome thing to me. I am excited about that. Getting close to 15 and then 2,000. Yeah, hey. Awesome, awesome. All right, all right, all right. Okay, what's going on here? Try this again. Nope, that ain't working. Yesterday was Larry's birthday. Happy belated birthday, brother. I did not know that. I'm sorry about that. Happy birthday to you, my friend. I hope you had a great day. I absolutely do. Thank you, Heather. Again, these are the social media accounts, guys, that are linked up with the channel. Check them out. The TikTok, the Facebook, and the Instagram. Go check them out. Like them, love them, do whatever you want with them. Miss Brandy's in the house. Good to see you, dear. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's see here. What is going on with this? Absolutely, sir. It's the least I can do. All right, everybody. All right, all right. I'm loading this up. Just give me a few minutes and we will get to kicking. Hopefully, more people jump in. All right, folks. As I said, once again, we are covering the true story behind the movie. True stories behind the movie Candyman. Sorry. Miss Star, good to see you, dear. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good to have ya here. All right, come on, come on. What are you laughing for? We're getting there. My computer's doing weird things tonight. I was having problems with this earlier. I don't know why. All right, everybody. I do want to show you this here real quick, just in case. I just never get lucky enough to be lucky, I guess you could say. There's a fair use label. Thank you so much, Miss Vicky. It's just explaining fair use content notice for what we're going to preview this evening, review, copy, review, and talk about tonight, guys. And there we go. All right. Thank you so much once again, Miss Vicky. And we're off 18 people in the house. That should pretty good.
I'm sure many of you are familiar with the.
All right. And again, guys, the movie CANDYMAN was made in the 90s in regards to the or late 80s. I'm sorry. It was about the Cabrini Green projects in Chicago. Pretty wicked movie. There was a remake of it not too long ago, which was to me kind of scarier. There's also a story about Miss Ruth McCoy, and that is based on the whole Candyman scenario too. So I'm going to show you a couple versions of things to give you guys a little bit of everything. Thank you so much, Miss Vicky. I appreciate that more than you know. More than you know. Guys, let me know if you have any issues with any kind of audio, video, visual, anything. If you don't hear me, yeah, that's a good idea, Star. Thank you so very much, my dear. There may be a little bit of sensitive content or topics in this, so there is a trigger warning on the banner, and Star said she's going to be dropping the other side of it, so no worries. If anybody does have any issues with any of this, please anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, please feel free to step out if you need to at any time. There'll be no judging on that. You guys are welcome to do that at any given time, so no worries. All right, guys, let's move that out. Give you some subtitles just in case. There we go. Okay, and one moment here. We're all set there. And we're off to the races, everybody. Here we go. Again, like I said, let me know if you have any issues with the audio or any part of it, guys, please.
Film The Candyman. But what you may be unaware of is that there is a real-life Candyman serial killer.
While the two really only share their name in common, the real-life Candyman story and crimes are so appalling and heartbreaking, you'll wish they were only a movie. Today, we'll be examining the life, legacy, and downfall of Dean Corll, Texas's own Candyman. Born in Fort Wayne, Indiana on December 24, 1939, Dean Corll was the oldest of two boys. His parents were Mary and Arnold Corll, and while his parents were never abusive or violent, the house certainly was tense and filled with arguing. While Arnold was strict with the children and valued hard discipline, Mary was very overprotective of her two sons. This difference led to many, many fights and arguments until 1946, 4 years after her second son together. Not long after the divorce, Arnold was drafted into the Air Force and sent to a base in Tennessee, and Mary followed him there, selling their house and moving in an effort to keep the children near their father, regardless of her feelings towards him. By 1950, Mary and Arnold had made up and decided to get remarried, once again uprooting their kids and moving them to Pasadena, Texas. Unfortunately, once again in 1953, the two of them decided to get divorced again, with Mary having custody over the children again. Dean and Stanley had no stability in their young childhoods, with their parents' marriage constantly fluctuating and being forced to move every few years, preventing them from making lasting friends. In 1955, Mary eventually remarried to a man named Jake West, who was a traveling clock salesman, and the two of them had a daughter while living in Texas. They eventually decided to start a candy company together, which they called Pecan Prince. Dean and his younger brother Stanley both worked in their family's company constantly when they were younger, being mainly in charge of operating the candy-making machinery, which also kept them from being able to appreciate and experience their childhoods. Dean was a shy and quiet kid who mostly kept to himself, and he unfortunately spent most of his younger years being incredibly sick. At age 7, he contracted rheumatic fever, but it somehow went undetected and untreated until he was 11 years old when doctors discovered he had a heart murmur. When he was older and in high school, Dean was still considered solitary and was overall an average student in terms of grades and behavior. His only real passion in high school seemed to be the brass band for which he played trombone, but after graduating in 1958, Dean dropped that passion. By the time Dean graduated, the Pecan Prince Candy Company was beginning to expand, and he moved with the rest of his family to Houston, Texas. However, 2 years later, in 1962, Dean would move back to his birthplace of Indiana to live for a while with his widowed grandmother. While in Indiana, Dean actually entered a relationship with a woman who would eventually propose to him. However, he rejected her and moved back to Texas to help with the family business. In 1963, Jake and Mary got divorced, and Mary made her own rival candy company to the Pecan Prince, simply called the Coral Candy Company, with Dean actually becoming the vice president. It was during this time period that Mary chose to fire a teenage boy that had been making complaints over Dean making sexual advances towards him. Unfortunately, this would become a running theme between boys that worked for the candy company. In August of the following year, Dean would get drafted into the military and sent out of Texas for basic training before eventually coming back to Texas to be permanently stationed at Fort Hood. It was in the military that Dean would realize he was homosexual and have his first gay encounters. However, of the few close acquaintances he told, most of them had already suspected he was gay due to the way he acted around teenage boys, which was alarming to say the least. Despite the self-discovery he experienced in the military, Dean reportedly hated serving and got honorably discharged on June 11, 1965, and went back home to help out with the candy company. Later, in 1965, the company moved to Houston Heights, across from an elementary school, and Dean was known to give out free candy to the local kids, especially teen boys, earning himself the nicknames the CANDYMAN and the Pied Piper. Dean was a lot less subtle with the way he would come on to any of the teenage male employees, and even set up a pool table in the back of the factory where teen employees and local kids would gather and hang out. 2 years passed, and in 1967, Dean became friends with a 12-year-old boy named David Brooks. David came from a broken home with divorced parents, and as he traveled to visit his two parents, he also made sure to stop by and stay at Dean's apartment, which he had begun to consider a second home. Whenever Brooks was also in need of cash, Dean always provided, which led David to viewing Dean as a real father figure. Tragically, Dean had been grooming the younger boy, and by 1969, after Dean urged for a while, he convinced David to let Dean perform oral sex on him in exchange for cash or gifts. By this point, the Coral Candy Company had shut down, and both Mary and Dean's stepsister moved to Colorado, and while they would still talk with Dean on the phone, neither of them would ever see Dean alive again. A year after the relationship turned sexual, David walked into Dean's apartment only to see him assaulting two teenage boys, but Dean was able to buy David's silence by offering him a car. Then Dean made a terrible deal with David. Dean convinced David to help him lure victims to the apartment by promising to pay David for his work, and David agreed. Their first victim was an 18-year-old named Jeffrey Conan, who disappeared while hitchhiking home, where he was believed to be picked up by Dean and David and taken back to the apartment. While trapped in the apartment, Conan was brutally assaulted, tortured, and eventually strangled to death. This same year, David also helped Dean lure two other boys, 14-year-old James Glass and Danny Yates, away from a religious rally and to Dean's apartment, where they fell to the same fate as Jeffrey Conan. On January 30th, 1971, Dean and David kidnapped 13 and 15-year-old brothers Donald and Jerry Waldrop while they were on their way home. Then, from March to May of that same year, Dean also used David's help to kill 15-year-old Randall Harvey, 13-year-old David Hillegeist, and 16-year-old Gregory Winkle. David was also even willing to lure his own friends to their demise at the hands of Dean and his buddy, a 17-year-old Reuben Watson Haney, who had been lured back to Dean's apartment under the guise of attending a party. In the fall of 1971, David lured an unknown number of young boys to the apartment, where they were kept trapped and alive for 4 whole days before being killed. At the end of the same year, David brought over a friend named Elmer Wayne Henley, likely so he too could be killed by Dean. However, Dean ended up taking a liking to Wayne and offered him the same deal he had made with David well over a year earlier at this point. Dean somewhat hid his true intentions from Wayne, however, and instead of telling him outright about the murders, instead told Wayne that he was involved in a white slavery ring. Wayne later claimed that he rejected Dean's offer for months until the early months of 1972, when his family came on hard times and were in desperate need of money. On February 9, 1972, a 17-year-old Willard Branch Jr. went missing and is believed to be Wayne's first lure back to the apartment. A month later, Wayne brings one of his friends, an 18-year-old boy named Frank Aguirre, over to Dean's apartment to smoke some weed. Before either of the boys could react, however, Dean accosted Frank and handcuffed both of his hands behind his back, before David helped gag Frank. Wayne claimed that he asked Dean to let go, but Dean refused.
It's has a bit of a Jeffrey Dahmer feel to it, doesn't it? In my opinion.
And told Wayne about what he had done to the previous victim Wayne had brought, and how he intended to do the same thing to Frank. At this, Wayne let Dean continue and later helped Dean and David bury the body at High Island Beach. From 1972 to 1973, Dean, David, and Wayne sexually assaulted, tortured, and strangled 17 other boys. This murder spree would finally come to a close in the latter half of 1973, 3 years after the killings initially began. On the night of August 7, 1973, Wayne, who was 17 years old by this point, brought a 19-year-old boy named Timothy Carlisle to Dean's apartment, as well as another friend, a 15-year-old girl named Rhonda Williams. Carl was infuriated that Wayne would bring a girl into his apartment, telling Wayne that he had apparently ruined everything. Wayne explained that she had an issue with her family and didn't want to go back home, and Dean appeared to calm down, and even offered the kids alcohol and weed. And around 2 hours later, all 3 of the teens had passed out. Wayne then got a rude start when he woke to find that Dean had gagged and handcuffed all 3 of the teenagers. Dean reiterated to Wayne how furious he was over Wayne bringing a girl into the apartment, but Wayne was able to convince Dean to free him so that he could also participate in the torture and murder. Dean instructs Wayne to sexually assault and kill Rhonda while he dealt with Timothy. Wayne walks over to Rhonda, who asked him, "Is this for real?" To which Wayne responded, "Yes," before Rhonda asked him, "Are you going to do anything about it?" Something about this struck a nerve with Wayne, and he grabbed Dean's pistol and threatened to shoot him, saying that this had all gone too far. Dean egged him on, saying that Wayne wouldn't shoot him right before he got shot 6 times, ultimately killing him and ending one of the worst cases of serial murder in American history. The 3 teens contacted the police shortly thereafter, and Wayne was placed under arrest, with David Brooks' arrest following soon after. Wayne gave a full in-depth confession to the police and even led them to the body dumping sites where the police would end up recovering 28 bodies. Wayne and David were tried separately from each other, with Wayne getting charged on 6 counts of murder and David only getting actually charged with the murder of one person, a teenager named William Lawrence. While Wayne is still alive and serving his sentence at a Texas prison, David recently died in 2021 due to complications with COVID-19. Dean Corll is responsible for one of the most heinous and disturbing killing sprees in American history and serves as the blueprint for the warnings to children to not accept free candy from strangers in vans. Thankfully, though, his murderous reign has ended, and this case can be closed. Tell us your thoughts about this case in the comment section below, and let us know any other stories you'd like us to cover. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, as that helps us produce more videos like this one, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right, guys, that's one of the stories that the movie is based on. I know it had nothing to do with the whole Cabrini Green thing, blah, blah, blah. There were three stories that this movie was based on, believe it or not. And it's weird. I thought there was only one. And as I started digging, there's more. There's actually a very short story about a guy that was, and I think it's more of a urban legend, about a guy that was called the CANDYMAN, and every Halloween for, I think it was 35 years, they said, he would put needles and razor blades in candy and hand it out to the kids when they go trick-or-treating. But nobody could pinpoint exactly who was doing it, but it was happening in the same neighborhood for that many years. And he would do it supposedly here and there. So why David only get busted for one? I don't get it. I don't either, Vicky. That story, it's just weird. I don't know. I really don't. It's weird. So it is what it is, I guess.
She looked in the mirror, and I don't know why, but she said his name the last time. Candyman.
Yeah, we're not going to play that. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Just one time. You only got 2 more times to say it, guys, and then what happens? Quite interesting, if you ask me. We love our horror movies, guys. Yes, we do. Miss Heather, she's a huge fan. Huge. I got some other things to show you the timelines for the Cabrini Green.
You may be thinking that there isn't anything in Candy.
So, here comes the second half. Oh, did it again. It is definitely crazy, to say the very least, Miss Vicky. All right, here we go. All right, guys, part two. And 1 second. Blow that up. More subtitles for you. And we're off.
Man, that could happen in real life. Well, I have a story for you that suggests otherwise, and it's the very tragic murder of Ruthie Mae McCoy.
The movie Candyman is based on Clive Barker's short story called The Forbidden, and it's a part of his Books of Blood anthology. Grad student Helen Lyle and her best friend Bernadette are working on their thesis on urban legends and folklore, and this is how she learns about the Candyman legend. Candyman was the ghost of a man named Daniel Robitaille. He was a very talented artist and the son of a wealthy former slave, and he was murdered in the late 19th century because of his relationship with Caroline. Caroline was the daughter of a wealthy white man that had commissioned Daniel to paint her portrait. But they fall in love, and she gets pregnant, and her father is furious. So he hires some men to kill Daniel, and this is how he becomes Candyman. Candyman's ashes were spread on the area that would one day become Cabrini Green. Now let's talk a little bit about the medicine cabinets because they're one of the biggest parts of this story. In the movie, you see a newspaper article that says cause of death, what killed Ruthie Jean and life in the projects. The newspaper article also mentions that she was the 23rd unsolved murder that year in Cabrini Green. Cabrini Green was a public housing project in Chicago, and the show Good Times was set there. And it was infamous for how dangerous it was. And during the first 3 months of 1981, 11 people had been murdered, and 37 had been shot. In Chicago Housing Authority Towers, CHA, babies had been tossed out of windows, and teenagers were shoved down elevator chutes. Criminals would sometimes just bust right through apartment walls to rape and murder tenants. On Candyman, there's a character named Ruthie Jean, and she was taking a bath when she heard a noise that sounded like someone was trying to bust through her wall. So she called 911 and she told them what she heard. But they didn't believe her because they thought that she was crazy. And they didn't understand what she was saying. She calls 911 again, and they still don't believe her. In the movie, Ruthie Jean has a neighbor. Her name is Anne Marie McCoy. So Anne Marie heard Ruthie screams, and she called 911, but unfortunately, when they finally did arrive, Ruthie was dead. So in the movie, the residents believed that she was killed with a hook by Candyman, but she was actually killed by the leader of a gang that came in through her medicine cabinet. He was simply using Candyman's name. Ruthie Jean's death was based on the real-life death of Ruthie Mae McCoy. Ruthie lived in a housing project called Grace Abbott Homes, and this wasn't far from Cabrini Green. And a great deal of the movie was shot at Cabrini Green. But just like the real Ruthie Mae McCoy, Ruthie Jean called the police, yet she still died alone. And they were both victims of the bathroom break-ins of the 1980s. This is Ruthie Mae McCoy's story. Around 8:45 at night on April the 22nd in 1987, 52-year-old Ruthie Mae McCoy called 911. She told them that someone in the apartment next door was trying to come through her bathroom mirror. She said they throwed the cabinet down and they want to come through the bathroom. But the dispatcher immediately assumed that Ruthie was crazy because what she said didn't make sense. Ruthie was mentally ill. She was paranoid schizophrenic, but she was also correct. She lived on the 11th floor, so she made sure to tell the dispatcher that the elevators were working. The elevators, the lights, and the utilities were out of order so much that when they did work, it was a big deal and it was worth mentioning. The toilets were often backed up and the ceilings and the walls were crumbling. It wasn't rare for people to break into apartments through the medicine cabinets. Maintenance workers used the narrow passages for easy access to the plumbing. All you had to do was remove 6 screws from one of the medicine cabinets, pull the cabinet out of the wall, crawl through the pipe chase, and then kick in the other cabinet. It had gotten so bad that people would put furniture in front of the bathroom doors, or they would keep a bucket nearby at night so they wouldn't have to go to the bathroom. And people that lived at the end of a hallway that had a vacant apartment next door were particularly susceptible. And nearly 30% of the 148 buildings were vacant in 1987. Ruthie Mae lived next door to a vacant apartment when she died, and drug dealers were using that apartment to sell and to do drugs. In her 20s, Ruthie started talking to herself from time to time, and she would snap at strangers. And she had her daughter, Vernetta, when she was
Welcome,
27, and she never married.
PW. Thanks for
In
joining us.
1983, she had a basement apartment in another apartment building that flooded. So she applied to the Chicago Housing Authority for emergency housing. And she asked specifically not to be placed in a high-rise project because those places scared her. But the waiting lists were so long for their row houses and the walk-ups that for years the only immediate openings that they had were in the high rises. So Ruthie Mae was offered an apartment in the Grace Abbott Homes on the 11th floor in a 15-story building. So with nowhere else to go, she moved into apartment 1109 in May of 1983. Before she died, Ruthie's neighbors said that she was more pleasant than she had ever been. She was getting help from a psychiatric clinic, and she was also taking her GED classes there. She had been approved for SSI, and that's federal aid for people that are physically or mentally disabled, so that made her monthly income double. She went from the $154 that she had been receiving from general assistance to $140. And SSI is paid retroactively to the date of the application. So the first check that she was sent was for $1,979, which would be around $4,600 today. And most people in her neighborhood made around $4,600 per year. Ruthie was planning to move out of the projects and get away from the young people that harassed her and threatened her. And in her building, she was known as Miss May, the crazy, funny lady that carried a stick. She would wave that stick at the young people that had their radios too loud in the hallway or that were making fun of her. Because the operator probably assumed that Ruthie was mentally ill, she wasn't taken seriously. So the call was noted as a disturbance with a neighbor. A few minutes later, 2 more calls came through to 911 about screams and 4 gunshots that were coming from Ruthie's apartment. Police were dispatched and they arrived 10 minutes later. The officers knocked on her door, but there was no answer. So they asked the janitor for a key to the apartment, but unfortunately, the key didn't work for some reason. The police officers wanted to break down the door, but they were advised not to by the security guards because if she was alive, they could possibly be sued. So since they weren't able to get into her apartment, they left about 40 minutes later. So the next day, her neighbor called police and asked them to check on Ruthie. She also called the project office and asked for a manager to open Ruthie's door. And that neighbor did so, even though her children advised her not to. The laws in Grace Abbott Homes were enforced by the drug dealers, so you weren't supposed to talk to the police about anything. Someone from the Chicago Housing Authority came to Ruthie's door with a carpenter who drilled the lock on the door, and once they got inside, they found Ruthie lying on her bedroom floor. And she had been shot 4 times, in the shoulder, the thigh, her abdomen, and her right arm. And a doctor said that even if she had have made it to the hospital, she probably still would not have survived. 2 men, Edward Turner, 18, and John Hondras, age 21, were both arrested and they were charged with murder, home invasion, armed robbery, armed violence, and residential burglary. One was arrested the day after Ruthie's body was found, and the other 2 weeks later. Witnesses claimed that they saw the 2 men carrying Ruthie's 19-inch color TV and her rocking chair around the project in the early mornings after her death. In court, a handful of friends and relatives came in support of the defendants, but only one person was there on behalf of Ruthie, her brother Willie. And due to a lack of evidence, the charges against the 2 men were dropped after 2 years of the trial. The victim's daughter, Vernetta McCoy, she sued the Chicago Housing Authority for the cause of her mother's death. A 19-inch RCA television and a caned-back rocking chair sat on the carpet near the prosecution table, and those items were later found in the home of another of the defendant's friends. And Willie said that he had last seen his sister about 3 months before she was killed. He said that Ruthie would give you the shoestrings off of her shoes if she knew that it would help you. She also used to help him with his homework. He said that he used to copy off of her paper. He said, I was older, but she was smarter. Candyman the legend was getting credit for crimes that were committed by the living, which in turn made people fear him even more, and it's where his actual power came from. Candyman said that Helen's disbelief in him destroyed the faith of his followers, and that he can't exist if they don't believe that he's real. And that was the reason that he appeared to her, and he says that he must kill her in order to keep his legend in the minds of his believers. We learn this when he says that I am the writing on the wall, the whisper in the classroom. Without these things, I am nothing. The mirror that contains his soul is the secret of his power. If the mirror is destroyed, he ceases to exist. And we see this in the second movie, Farewell to the Flesh. The cast and crew had to make deals with some of the local gang leaders who controlled Cabrini Green and agreed to put multiple residents in the film as extras in order to assure safe working conditions. And Tony Todd was told to watch out for snipers during production, and a production vehicle was actually hit by a sniper's bullet near the end of the shoot, but no one was hurt. Tony Todd was reportedly paid $1,000 for every sting that he received from the live bees that were used in the movie. He was stung 23 times. In the years since Candyman came out, more than 250,000 units of public housing have been demolished across the U.S. The last Cabrini Green Tower came down in 2011, and a Candyman reboot is scheduled to release on August the 27th of this year, 2021, and Jordan Peele is a producer.
And I tell you what, the remake that Jordan Peele did scared me way more than the original Candyman did. Welcome back, Miss Brandy PW. Thanks for being here with us tonight. I appreciate you so much, as I do all of you. As always, you guys are so amazing. Yes, you are. So that is the real Candyman story. There's two versions of it that they kind of took both of them and blended it together from what I read. It is what it is. I don't know. And then we also have, where is it? Yeah. The timelines for the Cabrini Green housing projects. 1 second here. This just adds bits to what I've showed you, just to kind of give you, and I love having you as that, Miss PW. You absolutely have no idea. It adds to the McCoy story that was the one that was more relative to the movie Candyman. So I'm going to give you some stuff on there. Pink is in the house. Good to see ya. I didn't know you was here, dear. It is a bit freaky to be. Listen, guys, realistically, living in an apartment, if somebody crawled into your bathroom through your medicine cabinet, are you kidding me? What? That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. Crazy. Yeah, I'd have been freaked out. I'd have moved. I'd have slept in a box on the street somewhere before I'd have stayed in that apartment. But in that neighborhood, I'm guessing that it probably wasn't a good idea to do that. So, you know how that goes. So anyway, the Cabrini Green timelines. What are you doing? Alrighty then. 2 words. Pew pew. Hold up. It's a chopper. Well, here's the thing, PW. The movies that I show you guys, I give you guys the true stories that the movies are slightly based on, is what happens. So what happens here is these movies that we come out with, that we see, just like Amityville, we've covered some, like at least 22 of them. Okay. what happens is these producers and directors, they come up with these ideas for movies based off of true stories that they have either seen, read, heard, grew up hearing about, whatever it is. So that's why they're not exactly like what the movies are, but they are loosely, as they call it, based off of these true stories. So when the cops didn't come the first time, I wouldn't have called a second time. Believe that? No. Yeah, I know that's sad. And in areas like this, it was very run down, and just it's kind of sad how that happened with that woman. You know what I mean? The police thought she was crazy. They didn't pay that much attention to it, and this is how it ended up. I mean, it's just really sad to me. Really sad. So let's push off with this here. Like I said, these are just some additives that go on to the last story about Miss McCoy that we just had.
This is the timeline of Cabrini Green, the most notorious projects in Chicago.
Welcome,
It
April.
goes all the way back to the 1850s. In the 1850s, it was shanties built on a low-lying land along the Chicago River, and the population was mostly Swedish and Irish. The area was called Little Hell, because it was like a gas refinery nearby, and it was like shooting pillars of flame
Gotcha,
and
April.
fumes and stuff coming up out of there. So by the 20th century, it was known as Little Sicily due to a whole bunch of Italian folk moved up in there. For y'all that don't know, man, Chicago is one of the main hubs of the Italian mafia. That's where Al Capone, that's where he did most of his dirt at. This whole gang culture in Chicago, it ain't nothing new, baby. They've been doing that way back. In 1929, some Harvey Zarbo wrote this book called The Gold Coast and the Slums, a sociological study of Chicago's near north side. And this was talking about the difference between the wealthy folks of the Gold Coast and the poor folks up in Little Sicily, in the transitional area in between. Marshall Field Garden Apartments, the first large-scale, although funded through private charity, low-income housing development in the area is completed. Now, this really blew my mind because Marshall Fields was like, I always knew it as like a mall or something in Chicago, a store or something like that. Kind of like JC Penney or something. That's the way I always thought about it. I didn't know that was a rich family in Chicago, and they basically built this neighborhood and put a retail in it and everything. So they was trying to see if they could make these like super, just these super little neighborhoods and little super cities inside the cities. But it turned out that they couldn't, it wasn't low income because all the work they put into it, they had to charge too much money, for folk to stay up in there to make their money back that they, built the place on. So, I guess this project was a fail for the poor folks, but it was a win for the big dogs, I guess. Now, in 1942, Francis Cabrini Homes, two-story row houses with 586 units and 54 buildings by architect Holman's Burmeister and something else is completed. Now, the initial regulations stipulate 75% was white and 25% black. So they had an idea, like I guess they had to say we had to at least get 25% of this homes to be black people. Now, this was named for St. Francis Cabrini, an Italian-American nun who served the poor and was the first American to be canonized. Now, that is unbelievable. Like, I grew up in Chicago, and I've been to Cabrini Green once or twice. I had no idea it was named after a nun. Like, that is amazing. That's just, that's crazy. Wow. 1957. Ernie Holmes Extension, the red brick buildings, mid and high rises, they was built with 1920. Wow. Man, think about that. 1,925 units. Whew.
Again, CZ, thank you again, guys. I am completely and totally crowdfunded to keep me going and coming out here every day and night to talk to you guys. That's how I do it to pay the bills, folks. So anybody that would feel generous enough to want to donate to support the channel, there are the links for Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App, and I thank you all so very much. Um, yeah, Chicago, especially in the 70s and 80s, it was very, very rough in a lot of areas. Of course, every town has its rough areas and its nice areas and all that kind of stuff, but these projects in these areas here were like really harsh, guys. Some bad stuff went down, no lie.
In 1962, they built the William Green homes, 1,096 units, by architect Pace Associates, named for William Green, longtime president of the American Federation of Labor. You know, I couldn't imagine somebody building something that housed that many people in my name. Like, maybe I don't know if he was dead at the time or not, but that's a lot, man. I couldn't imagine so many people living under my name. If it was under my name, I'd have some kind of little secret special deal. It'd be like, pay your rent on time and get free Kool-Aid.
I don't think you were in here when it was said, Brandy, but those actually were the apartment buildings that they used for the show Good Times. That's what they said in the very beginning of the last episode we just watched. So yeah, it's funny that you said that.
Well, every apartment come with a barbecue grill out on the patio. (1966) Gautreaux et al. Versus Chicago Housing Authority. A lawsuit alleging that Chicago public housing program was conceived and executed in a racially discriminatory manner that perpetuated racial segregation within neighborhoods is filed. The CHA, the Chicago Housing Authority, was found liable in 1969, and a consent decree with HUD was entered in 1981. So basically, they were saying for y'all to build, these projects, y'all built these with the intention of, look, man, let's put all the Negroes, let's put all the black folk, let's put all of whatever they wanted to call them, let's put them all in one place, lock them up, throw away the key, basically. We ain't gonna put no resources in there. We ain't putting no good hospitals. We not putting no good schools, no good jobs, no good grocery. We're not doing none of that. Just lock them in, put them in there, shut the dang door, and let's get the heck on. Get them out of our problem. Out of our face. It ain't our problem. February 8th, 1974. Television sitcom Good Times, set in Cabrini Green. They didn't never say the name Cabrini, but when the show came on, they showed the projects on the camera or whatever. And if a bunch of shots and stuff in the opening credits and the closing credits. Debuted on CBS and it ran for 6 seasons until August 1st, 1979. Now, for y'all that don't know, Good Times is a show that still holds up to this day. Like, Good Times is just a part of my childhood. Me and my brothers and my mama, whatever, we still reference like Good Times, man. Good Times will forever be a part of our lives. And I can't wait till one day when my kids grow up, we sit down and we watch episodes of Good Times together. And even though they probably gonna think it's the lamest thing ever, but hopefully they just see what life used to be like. And the main lesson in the whole show was, even though things was bad, they was able to have good times in the midst of all the craziness. And for all y'all who fans of the show, Bookman just died, man. R.I.P. to Bookman, man. That was R.I.P. to Bookman, man. Yeah. I wish they could have done some kind of, reunion show, but I know, Florida gone, and but hey, man, R.I.P. to All of the
100%,
great
Mikey.
sitcom
100%.
legends, man. March 26th through April 19th, 1981, Mayor Jane Byrne moves into the Cabrini Green to prove a point regarding Chicago's high crime rate. Considered a publicity stunt, she stays just 3 weeks. Now, I'm gonna have to, I felt like I heard this before. It's like one of them things I think I heard and I forget. But I'm gonna have to do a video to go into detail about that because I know it got to be something behind it. I'm gonna have to do a video about this on its own. So tune in, like come. I'm probably gonna do this by next week. I'm gonna touch on this subject again because
I got you, bro. I got
that's
you.
interesting, man. And I'm gonna really have to break that down. It would be nice to see more things like this from politicians. Not
That
just
just shows that your
showing up
mom
and
cared about you,
whatever to
brother.
take some pictures, but
That's what we
just
do
come
for
be part
as
of it
parents
for
for
a
our
minute.
kids.
Maybe bring some of them people from other sides of town and let them come be part of some stuff for a day or two, even a day. Just come for a day and see what it's like. "1992, Candyman is released. The story taking place at the housing project. Now, for y'all that don't know, Candyman took place in Cabrini Green, and it's amazing that just how just how historical this place is, man. That's amazing. I'm sure it's not the only movie shot in the projects, but to me, what place would have just what place would have such a better violent history, man? Like, if ghost is real and if demon possession and all that stuff is real, wouldn't it happen in a place where so many people die, so many people suffer, so much, injustice is done? To me, it would only make sense, man. You see these little horror movies
Ain't
with
nothing wrong with that,
ghosts and
Mikey. I
demon
get it.
possession and stuff
Same way with
happening
my
in the
kids. My mother was
suburbs
like
and
that with
all
me
that,
too,
and a big brand new house
until I
they just
became a
bought.
teenager and
But
did
hey,
my own
man,
thing.
how is there so many restless spirits in the suburbs? What they grew up with the silver spoon in their mouth was too sharp or something? 1994, Chicago receives one of the first Hope 6. It's a Roman numeral VI. That's 6, right? Hope 6 housing opportunities for people everywhere. Grants to develop Cabrini Green as a mixed income neighborhood. So from a low income to a mixed income. I wonder how that worked out. Spoiler alert, not very good. September 27th, 1995. Demolition begins. I know it's a lot of people that probably was like, yeah, man, it's time for this place to go. But I know it's a lot of people that was real, even just looking at, this images, man. Like people's like, don't tear our home down, fix our home, man. And if you really think about it, man, for y'all that don't really know, this was part of gentrification, man. So that meant that we finna tear this junk down, and in replacement of it, we gonna build some stuff up that's too expensive for y'all. So you're gonna go out to areas where it's cheaper to live and more congested and more crime because now everybody taking all the jobs up, everybody living shoulder to shoulder. And hey, man, you're gonna get, cities like Chicago, it's gonna turn into the wild, wild west, just like it did. 1997, Chicago unveils Near North Redevelopment Initiative, a master plan for development in the area. It recommends demolishing the green homes and most of the Cabrini extension. Yeah, man, they was getting ready to, it was time for new beginnings, man, and time for bad times for You know, my fault.
I'm with you on that one, Mike. Me too.
1999. Chicago Housing Authority announces a plan for transformation, which will spend 1.5 billion over 10 years to demolish 18,000 apartments and build and or rehabilitate 25,000 apartments. Earlier redevelopment plans for Cabrini Green are included in the plan for transformation. New library, a rehabilitated Seward Park, and new shopping center open. Wow. You know, it's a lot of people in Chicago, but man, that's just think of how much organization you got to do to build something like that. Man, like it's hard just going to the grocery store and getting everything you need and not forgetting nothing, man.
Thank you, Miss
I just
Heather
couldn't
dear.
imagine coming up with a plan on a scale that big, man. It's like that blows my mind, man. I ain't that smart. December 9th, 2010. The William Green Homes Complex's last standing building closes. You know, that's kind of, man, that's sad, man. And, you know, I know Cabrini had a lot of bad go on in there, but I know it really displaced some people that probably was there their whole lives, man. And I know they had a lot of memories, and to see all that get torn down like that, I know it must really, you know, it had to really bother them, man. March 30th, 2011. The last high-rise building was demolished with a public art presentation commemorating the event. The majority of Francis Cabrini Homes row houses remain intact, although in poor condition, with some having been abandoned. Now, you know, nowadays the area, you know, it then came up some, and you know, the people with money, they didn't get back up in there, you know, because that's how it all go. Back in the day, the folks who, you know, worked downtown and had the big jobs and stuff, they didn't want to stay in the city. They wanted to stay in the suburbs. So it was more expensive to stay in the suburbs and cheaper to stay in the city. But then they got tired of taking them long commutes and all that. And they ready to, you know, they got tired of it, man. So they said, we need to be closer to the city. So that's what they did. They came and they started getting them poor folks out the city so them rich folks could come in and just step right on in, man. I remember when I was in high school, I used to go past the Rockwell projects, and it was amazing, man, how just little by little, man, they was just tearing the old stuff down and putting them condos in. And even as a teenager, I knew that the Negroes weren't going to be able to afford to stay there. I already knew that, even as a kid, man. And so you know the big dogs knew, but they don't care.
That's sad.
You may be thinking that there isn't anything.
And there it is, everybody. The true stories behind the movie Candyman. Um, as I told you, there wasn't actually a third story, a shorter, smaller story that I believe is more of an urban legend than an actual real story. So, one second here. Let's see if I can maybe I had it in here. I showed they took a little bit of that and the Cabrini Green story, mixed them together, and we got Candyman. So, let me see. Well, there's also stories about a ghost of the Dean Coral. The first story I told you, people have dealt with that a lot. Where's it at? Maybe I don't have it anymore. I guess not. All right, well, does anybody have any questions about any of that? I've heard of studios being in the 1 to 2. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Listen, just for shits and giggles, I was watching something on YouTube about Beverly Hills and certain parts of California and stuff yesterday just because I was bored. So I was looking up. They did it. I watched an actual video tour of them driving through Hollywood, the Hollywood Hills, and all that stuff. And they showed all these different apartment complexes and stuff like that. So I was looking up pricing for apartments. They had listed a 2-bedroom apartment with 1 bathroom for $16,000 a month. Are you kidding me? They had a whole series of studio apartments that were running a studio, which is just 1 room with a sink in it and a toilet in it. That's all it was. Okay. I think there was a tiny little apartment size stove, right? $1,700, $1,800, $1,900 a month. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'll live in my car. Just saying. I will live in my car and be happy with that. Yeah, that's beyond outrageous, Star. But that's California for you. So there's that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure. But it actually, in Ohio, we have certain types of apartments around here. Like downtown, if you want to live downtown in the apartments above the city buildings and stuff like that, they're expensive too. $1,500 a month, stuff like that. But it's Ohio, like Warren, Ohio. It's the same price as LA. Come on. Makes no sense. 3,000 to 5,000. Oh yeah, New York is insane. Brownstones. If you get lucky enough to find one open to rent, I have friends that live down in the Bronx and in Brooklyn and places like that. Even places that are run down, they're still expensive. Manhattan. I have 2 friends that live in Manhattan. One of them owns a brownstone, and I'm not even going to tell you what he paid for it. And then another one rents a brownstone. Just guess at what he pays per month for this. It's a 3-bedroom, I think he told me. It's beautiful inside. It looks like a giant Victorian house. It looks way bigger than it actually looks from the street. But just guess at what you think he pays per month. And this is in Manhattan, mind you. Anybody want to take a guess? Anybody at all? Yep. $6,200 a month. What? Bye. Sorry, you can have it. See ya. He also makes a stupid amount of money. He works in one of the buildings down there by where World Trade was. He works down there doing something. He's a financial advisor and blah, 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 blah. He makes dumb money. Dumb money that makes no sense to me. For what he does, it's like $180,000 a year or something stupid like that. But he drives a Lexus. He owns that apartment. Yeah, it's stupid. Gotcha, Mike. Gotcha. So does anybody have any questions, comments, theories, opinions, something you want to spit at me, anything at all about that? Is he single? No, he's not. Sorry, Michelle. He is actually married on his 3rd marriage, and he's 48 years old, same age as me. He's on his 3rd marriage, and he's got 6 kids. and only 3 of them live with him. It's weird. Very well. No, it's not weird because the woman he's married to, he had those 3 kids with, and then the other 3 kids are with their mother, and he pays child support too, so he can afford it. I'm lucky to live where my rent is reasonable. I don't think anybody's rent is reasonable. My parents, my mother and father, live in a townhouse, right? And they've been there for this is 2023. They moved in there when me and my current wife got together 20 21 years ago. Exactly, right? Somebody take a guess at what they pay. Just guess. It's a 2-bedroom townhouse, and there's only one more next door to them. They have a big parking lot. They're on kind of it's not really that busy, but it's a decent area too. But it's just her and my dad. Just guess at what they pay. Yep, 550 actually, Michelle, and they're grandfathered in at that price because he does not want them to move. So he said he would leave the rent that way as long as they stayed there, and that's what they pay, $550. I haven't paid $550 for rent in at least 25 years. 550, guys, that's it. And they only have to pay their gas and their electric. Their water bill is included in that 550. That is a deal and a half. And they're perfectly fine with staying here because of that price. When we grew up, they sold the house that they had because it was too big for us or for them, and they moved into that, like, they didn't want to have to do all the maintenance for the house anymore, the yards, this and that, everything else. So they sold that. They moved into this townhouse. It's close to where my father works at, and it was close to where my mother works at. And 550 they've been paying for the past 21 years. 480. Good God, where do you live at, Star? That's cheap. That's really cheap. The first house, this was a house, guys. When I got with my first wife, we lived in a couple apartments and in the trailer park and blah, 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 blah. When we got our first house, it was a 2-bedroom house. It was just me, her, my oldest child, and my second child was born at that point in time, but he was a baby. It was a 2-bedroom house. We paid $235 a month for this house. Could not believe it. We lived there for about 5 years. Then my oldest daughter, she got older, and my youngest child, he got older, and then we got pregnant with a third. Time to move. You live in Missouri. Okay. Wow, that's cheap, Star. Brandy, you pay $400. Damn. You guys are lucky. Sunshine's in the house. By the way, Sunshine, I want to thank you. I received the package you sent. It was kind of heartbreaking, but thank you. At the same lot so very much. My wife said the same thing. You are such a sweet person, and thank you so much for that. That was absolutely amazing of you. So thank you for that once again. And it's great to see you in here, by the way. My mom rents a 1-bedroom apartment in California. Her rent is $950 a month and goes up every year. That shouldn't be allowed. That's nuts. Guys, do you guys have any suggestions? As we do, we're kind of at that point now. About movies that you want me to tell you the story about, the true story about. Throw them in the chat if you do. Miss Heather, what was the movie that we voted on last week other than Candyman? The other one we voted on. All right, PW. Thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate you so very much. Hope to see you later. Have a great night. Yeah. Thank you, Brandy. We did that one, Vicky. That was, I think, the third movie we did. That was insane. We may end up watching that though in one of our movie nights because I really like that movie. It's pretty crazy. All right, PW, my dear. Have a great night. We will see you soon. Yeah, you should be able to go back and watch it. I don't see why you shouldn't. It should be out still. Yeah, right. I agree with you on that one, Mike. Wow, you guys voted quick on that one. 88% of you said yes to the orphan, and 11% said no. Pretty good one. The next movie is called, or I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called The Strangers. Seen it a long time ago. I think it's about people that break into this house. They hold people hostage. They're pretty nasty too. There's some pretty crazy stuff in. On the first one, vote, vote, vote. You gotta vote. You gotta vote. Vote it up, everybody. Vote it up. It's been so nice having you in here today, Vicky, this morning and this evening. I'm serious. Really enjoy having you here. I hope that you're enjoying yourself in these streams and that you're going to want to keep coming back. And of course, bring more people with you. If you think the rest of the jellies, as they call you guys, might be interested, bring them along. I know Yo Baby comes in here. Crazy Girl comes in here too, so it would be very cool to have you all in here. 83%, almost there. Load it up. Don't move to the dump shine state. That was a good one, Mike. Oh yeah, I know she's been sick. I'm good, Vicky. I'm glad you are. You fit in just as everybody else does in here. The same. Everybody loves you, and I'm glad that you're enjoying yourself. I really am, and I'm so happy to have you here. If I could get Dustin to sit still in here when I'm live, it'd be nice. Or even come in here. I'm going to yell at him tomorrow when I see him. Although you said he was in a meeting, so that's not his fault. All right, let's see here what this one says. So the Orphan was 88% to 11%. And the Strangers is 83% to 16%. So it looks to me like the Orphan is the winner. Ding, 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 ding. It's all right. We're still going to cover the Strangers one of these days. And guys, if you get a chance, if you're curious, if you want, please look up a list of movies that you like and see if they're based on a true story. If it's a movie you really want to know if it is or if it's not, either look it up or ask me and I'll find out, or Heather will find out, or somebody can find out for you. If you want to do it, put it in the chat. Give us the idea. Actually, leave it in the comment section too, guys. So the Orphan, it is, everybody. You're ready, because that one is quite interesting. Quite interesting. Let's see here. Uno momento. Let's see. And again, this is your guys' homework to watch this movie if you haven't seen it. If you want to, of course. I'm not forcing you to do it, but if you have the time or you feel like it, try to watch it. I'm going to show you the trailer to it real quick. And that'll give you a little idea of what we're getting into. If you can imagine this being a true story, I couldn't. I'll be honest with you. And here we go. Thank you again, Heather. I'll wait on that until this is done. And we're off. Ooh, yep. That's it. Again, welcome, Life, Love, and True Crime. I don't know if you heard me. The movies that we do are typically based on some sort of a true crime scenario. So I'll have to look at The Omen and see. It's a great one. I love that movie. All of them, actually. And Rosemary's Baby. It might be. It might be in the true crime realm. So I'll look that one up too. That's a really good movie. That's a freaky movie, I'll be honest with you. But yeah, I'll check that one out too. And if they fall into that realm, that genre, I'm down for it. You guys know that. You know that. If nothing else, maybe we could watch one of them or both of them on a movie night. So yeah, which is going to be starting soon. So again, if you're not a member, please, and don't worry, Brandy will help deal with you. Don't worry. I already told you. If you're not a member, please try to become one so that you can join us. It's only $2.99 a month. You get exclusive access to the Discord. That way you can hang out with us all day long. Me and all my awesome moderators. and all the other subscribers and the family members in here, and all the awesome meatballs. And the channel is called The Sauce. All the meatballs hang out in the sauce. Imagine that. Ha ha ha. So if you can't, like I said, or if you haven't, please try to become a member. Like I said, it's only $2.99 a month, and you are part of the fam. I mean, you guys are already part of the family, but you are a exclusive member of the fam. Okay. And it gives you, like I said, the exclusive access to the Discord. In there, you get to hang out with me and everybody else that's in here throughout the day. If you choose to, there's multiple conversations always going on in there, and you kind of get a early bird access to the what we're going to be covering throughout the week, throughout the day, earlier in the day, however you want to put it, guys. It happens, and it's just cool to be able to hang out with everybody else in chat, that's in chat, and all the other members throughout the day too, on a regular basis. The moderators, they're all great, and they're in there. They're so much fun. And plus, the best thing of absolutely all of it is you get to see me anytime throughout the day when you want to, and talk to me at any given time. So that is the best part of everything. I'm just kidding. I'm really not that vain. So anyway, and it helps out the channel, of course, becoming a member 100%. Because as I said, guys, I am 100% crowd-funded, folks. And Miss Vicky is a meatball. Welcome to The Sauce, my dear. Miss Heather, or anybody, if you would like to invite Vicky to the Discord, please do. If you are accessible to that, Vicky. And again, guys, if you're a member now and you're not in the Discord, let one of the mods know so that they can invite you in to the Discord so you can be in the sauce with the rest of us, okay? I'd like to get everybody in there before we start them. That's kind of why I'm delaying the movie night thing, so we can get as many members hooked up as possible, okay? So, and the movie night thing is going to be really cool. Like I said, me, Mama Bear, Miss Pookie, and Molly, we figured it out one night, and it is really neat because you guys will come into here. That way we're in the channel, of course. And then we'll link from the channel into the Discord, and kapow, that's it. We can watch a movie all night long. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you as a member, Miss Vicky. I appreciate that so very much. And we're so happy to have you. So happy. There we go. Channel members, if you are a member, please send a message to one of the social media accounts, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is that you guys are involved in or you prefer to use. And you'll get your link to the exclusive members only Discord chat. Just like that. Thank you, Miss Heather. Heather is the brains behind almost all of the whole social media thing, because nobody else has the patience or well, Mama Bear does too. Miss Brandy, she deals with the TikTok for the most part. I have no understanding of how that stuff works. I don't really use social media that much. I'm learning slowly, but it is what it is. I need to have my kids show me how to use Discord. It's not super hard once you get in there, Life and Love. It's actually pretty cool. Discord has a lot of stuff in it that is really neat, to be honest with you, that we've been finding out. Once we can get the links to work. The links are hard. I could drop a link here and it'll expire. That's what's been the problem with it. So yeah, once you get in there and you get used to it and you're on board, it's pretty simple, Life and Love. It's really not that hard. And all it is like a chat forum where we can go in and we can talk to each other throughout the day. And the reason why we're doing the movie nights through there is because YouTube cannot strike us for playing a movie through the whole stream. Do you know what I mean? And we're also able to watch like Unsolved Mysteries, the ID channel, things. If we can find links for it, I can play it in there. That's what we got to get Star in there too. But I never used it before this, and it really turned out to be something really cool. I really do enjoy it. That's right. Jump in the sauce. Become an official Dago family member. Be part of the family. Join the King of the Meatballs. And that gives you access to our exclusive Discord chat and movie nights. There's the link to join. It will be cool, Miss Michelle. I think it will be a lot of fun. I just thought it would be nice that we can all actually sit here together. And the thing is we can watch the movie and we can chat at the same time like we do right now. If we want to talk about different parts of the movie or this or that, I mean, it's a really neat thing. So, and if we want to watch some of the movies that we're covering in the true crime thing in here, we can watch those movies too. So, and it's going to be kind of fun when I do start rolling with more of the paranormal stuff for sure. Either in this channel or in my other channel that I'm going to start if I do it. I signed up for Discord, but that's all I did so far. Okay. Well, if you need a link to it, Star, just let us know and we'll invite you in and get you rolling with the rest of us. Well, actually, you should be in the one Discord because you're a moderator. So we need to get you into that one for sure. I have one set up just for me and my mods. That way we can communicate with everything we have to do. And then I have the Discord for all the meatballs called The Sauce. And then that's how we do the movie night thing. So I appreciate you guys so very much for jumping in here with us tonight and listening to me tell the stories and letting the whatchamacallit explain the stories to you. My favorite channel is Laugh Out Loud. My kids think I'm weird because I fall asleep to murder show. There's nothing weird. We all do. We all do. Miss Brandy said, Star, DM her on Twitter and she will send you the invite to the moderator Discord. And then Heather, she, Joe, and you, Vicky. With that rolling, all right. We are on top of things. I was in Discord and somehow was booted. You know what might happen? She may have ended up in one of those extra channels that were put up, or one of those extra inside channels inside Discord, and it may have knocked her out. We'll get you back in, Kyra. Don't worry, hon. Absolutely, Mikey. You too, brother. Enjoy your night, sir, and I will see you tomorrow. I hope sometime. You have an amazing night, brother. We love you. Yeah, we're going to get him in there too, Cece. He has to get in there because he's a mod. He actually said something about it. So, KK too. KK's a moderator over here as well. Or wait, yeah, she's a mod too, I believe. All right, Miss Vicky, thank you so much. Take your time. Again, guys, thank you all. As I was saying, I should say, thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I hope you guys got something out of that, enjoyed it in some fashion. And again, don't forget, tomorrow, same time, same place, same day, we are taking on part 2 of revisiting the Summer Wells case. There's so much stuff, guys. It may take us a few days all the way around to do this because there's so much with it. Oh, okay. All right, Mikey. No problem. Good to have you, Kyra. Thanks for joining us. I wonder where Red's at. Red's in chat now. He's in the Discord. Slowly but surely, we're getting everybody hooked in and linked up. Yes, I hope so, Miss Cece. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream this morning or the early afternoon. Okay, I normally don't do this. I can get my personal Facebook on. Are you comfortable with that, Brandy? I don't know. I mean, if you want to, that's fine, but just be careful. Miss April. Miss April is in Discord, by the way. She can tell you it's a lot of fun. We have some crazy, silly, fun conversations in there, that's for sure. Miss Cece's in there. Mikey's in there now. Brandy, Heather, Mama Bear, me, of course. There's quite a few of us in there now. Let's see. Am I missing anybody else? Michelle, we got to get you in there too, hon. Pookie's in there. Willow is in there. Pink, are you in? It's it can be. It's just, how can I explain it? What's up, Sammy? Yeah, see, that's true too. It's not really a video. You don't have to do video, Pink. It's typically we just type like you do in chat right now and talk back and forth. And I can do calls. You can do video, but we don't have to. We don't usually ever do any kind of videos. I've been worried about Pookie, and she said something the other night about her phone battery dying, and she needed a new. All right, so yeah, is that what? Why is it something you were worried about there, Pink? I got you, Star. It's actually a lot of fun. I was nervous about it, and when we first started with it, I didn't know anything about it, and we've all grown pretty accustomed to it. I like it a lot because you can do a lot of things with it that you can't do in here. It's kind of like a Twitter thing, but better. But you go into it, and we type messages throughout the day to each other all day long. We have full conversations that never end. So it's worth being in there. It really is. Oh, that is Miss Brandy puts that up for everybody that has any issues. Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that. Yeah, you got to jump in there, Pink. That way we can get you into the movie nights with us. I think you'll really enjoy yourself. And plus, like I said, there's multiple conversations that go on through there all day, every day. That a lot of times leads into our live streams too. So, yeah, exactly. You can type, voice, or video chat at any time. I could do. I planned on doing for anybody that goes up to the very top tier as a member, which is that's a spicy meatball. We can do voice chats together in there, okay, and have voice calls and stuff like that. But that's only going to be for the very top tier. But I do have to do that with moderators too. So it is actually a lot of fun, Star. It really is, and I think you'll enjoy it. Miss Brandy's a spicy meatball. We got a few of them. We definitely have a few of them. 18 awesome people in here. And again, guys, thank you so much for that. Please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you have not yet, which I know most of you have. And please share this out. At the very end of the stream, guys, I would really appreciate that, as does YouTube. It helps me out a lot if you guys leave comments and, of course, share it for other people to see. Leave me any kind of a comment. I don't care what it is. Good, bad, happy, sad, whatever it may be. So, again, everybody's homework for Monday night is to, if you choose, to watch the movie Orphan, so you know what I'm talking about when I explain it to you, and you can see the real story behind it. I think that's going to do it for tonight. Does anybody have any questions, any thoughts, any opinions, anything at all you want to throw at me, guys? Thank you. Once again, Miss Heather, Again, folks, for the final time tonight, I am fully and 100% totally crowd funded here. That's what keeps me out here for you guys. Pays the internet bills, the StreamYard bills, and anything else I need to make this thing run. Therefore, that is why I post these links constantly, the Venmo, PayPal, and the Cash App link to keep the bills paid so I can continue coming and seeing all of you beautiful people. Anybody feeling generous or that would want to consider supporting the channel, please feel free with any one of these links, and it is absolutely appreciated. Any little bit counts, guys. Every little bit counts. Okay, you've talked to her, Sammy? Did you talk to her, Sammy? What's going on with her? Where's she been? Please. Her battery is getting too hot. Okay. So what does she got to do? I thought she was upset with somebody or something happened. That's what I was worried about. Or somebody upset her. All right, Miss Michelle, you lovely meatball. You have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining us, and I will see you soon, I hope. Okay. All right. Well, I wish she would have just let me know she was okay. I was freaking out for a day or so. Well, that's good to know she's all right then. Good. Thank you, Sammy, for finding out and for letting us know. Real quick, guys, if you have not yet done it, our lovely Miss Heather has her channel that she's starting up as well. It's called Simply Heather X. Please show some love over there, guys. She needs it. She deserves it. She's a hard worker, and she does some really great stuff, guys. Go over there and check it out. There's a link. It's called Simply Heather X. Show the love. Yes, thank you so very much, Sammy. It is very much appreciated. All right. Does anybody have anything else for me at all? I hope she wasn't offended by all that mannequin naughty talk. What are you talking about, Pink? I need the Discord link. Thought I was in the group, but not seeing it now. Oh, yeah. She is awesome, Sammy. We love her. She is so great. Love her to death. Brandy, can you help Life and Love out, please? And make sure that that's the problem we had. We had to move some people because they were going into the wrong stream in the Discord. Yeah, you could do that. That's what Heather had said. Life and Love. If you want to go to one of the social media accounts, either the True Crime Facebook, Instagram, or the TikTok, and you can get the link to the Discord in there for it. Oh, busty mannequin. Oh, I don't think she was bothered by any of that stuff. Yes, let her know that we love her and that we miss her, Sammy, and tell her to hurry back. Let her know that Willow was asking about her, too. We were wondering. All right, y'all. I think that's going to do it for tonight. We've been rolling for quite a bit here, so awesome. Good to know, Sammy. Yes, tell her that all the meatballs are missing her. PPP did confirm whether he's engaged or not. He did not, Pink. He did not. We don't know. I'm sure he's going to be, though, after the other night. That was funny. That was so funny. He did not confirm, though. So, all right, all you beautiful people. Do me a favor, guys, and don't forget to love yourselves, to love each other. Don't forget to come see me tomorrow between 12 or 12:30 as we carry on part 2 of revisiting the Summer Wells case. I hope to see each and every one of you guys in there. I love each and every one of you guys individually. You guys are amazing for this channel and for me and for each other. And I thank you all for everything you do for this channel and for me and for each other. Because remember, guys, this is your channel. I just run it for you. Once again, guys, have an amazing, amazing rest of your night. I hope you guys all have amazing dreams and get some awesome sleep. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great one. And don't change a thing about yourselves because you are the beautiful people. Bye-bye, everybody.